welcome to the first episode of KapVista, KapVista powered podcast called The Everyday VC. It's an opportunity for us to talk about some of the companies that we've seen, some of the trends we've uncovered, and what the investors are talking about. And off the back of our, the first trip to the US since the borders have opened, we've seen a lot of really cool tech and spoken to some amazing people. So we've got a lot to share. Joining me today is our US correspondent, Julia.
For one night only.
And our newest team member, Paris. So it's a very global feel. We've got Australia, the US, and France.
Got a good spot there.
French accent.
Yeah, you just need a French accent and maybe a beret. So the idea about this is just to have a conversation, talk about what we've seen, talk about the interesting deal flow, whether they're part of the KapVista ecosystem or they aren't. But what we've uncovered might surprise you. You might know all about it, but this is just a place for us to talk. So we'll throw it over to Julia. What's going on in the US?
Well, hello, everyone. There's a lot happening in the US. Me and Dan just got off our road show through the US. So it was super exciting. We went to LA, San Francisco, New York, and Vegas. Man, it feels good to connect again. Dan, you know me. I am a very face-to-face person. Dan and I used to work together years ago, and we would put on events. And, that was what I loved. I loved seeing people. I loved seeing companies engaging, growing my own knowledge and skill set. It was awesome. So to have a little bit of that back, obviously not to its full capacity since we're still in the pandemic, it's great. But it really feeds me in this industry to see passionate people, new ideas. ESG especially is growing at the moment. I am very focused towards impact investments, impact focused startups. So one I kind of want to transition into and talk about, they're on the platform, but they're called Sativa building systems. And actually they're quite interesting. Okay, I love him because his name's Zach and he's from the Midwest, right? I'm born and raised from Minnesota. I'm from Minnesota, everyone. So go Gophers, Big Ten. It was a great upbringing, but since moving to Australia and California, I've decided to live coastal. But super sweet, charming guy. They are doing a lot. Let me get into my notes a little bit here. So basically, it's a sustainable green building system. So it's kind of like the current problem is that traditional wall construction within homes and commercial buildings is susceptible to mold, moisture problems, fire, rotting. And actually, he started this company because his daughter actually was having some health issues with mold, which actually I can relate to. I actually had some mold in my system when I got blood tested done as well, and it was causing a lot of health symptoms as well. And so I completely aligned with that and making your home your safe space. So that was awesome to connect with him on that. And he created what's called the Z panel, which is, I sound so panel Minnesotan. Anyway, it's basically a hemp-based stackable block panel used to construct walls. So it's made from non-toxic materials with no VOCs, which is amazing. Mold resistant, pest resistant, rot resistant, fire resistant. It's 1/6 the weight of concrete. It's affordable. Costs about the same as current building structures, easy to use and assemble. And my thing is it's carbon negative, right? So this hempcrete sequesters more carbon than it creates, which to me is like probably one of the best things that you could do for the environment. So it's just super valuable. It's very early stage, but if you look at consumer trends too, like one of the most interesting things I'm finding is consumers are really economically, environmentally conscious nowadays. So they did a survey and it's like more than a third of the respondents would gladly buy a product that's better for the environment than something that's slightly cheaper and crap for the environment. So that's something to really utilize and a lot of foreshadowing to what's going to come in this space moving forward, which I think is really exciting. I think we have a duty as humans to make the world a better place. We must remain positive with it, but also be funding things that are innovative and going to really help that carbon impact. And so That's really great. They're actually closing out they're with WeFunder right now. They're closing out around, I think they have like 15K left of the total 600K, and then they're going to raise again shortly. And they're actually going to have a new valuation. So that's all coming up. Like I said, this conversation that I have in the works, but really great people on the team, really awesome mission. I'm super excited to see where they're going, and hopefully going to connect with them soon here. I might be going to the Midwest to take a look. They're going to be building some prototypes and some really awesome things coming up. So that, to me, that is what I love seeing. So back to you, Dan.
Well, that's interesting that you mentioned that, and we've seen it as well. So during our US trip, we met a lot of investors, and there is a focus on impact and sustainability. And one of the companies that I've known for quite a while, and I've been to their factory here in Sydney. I've been to their factory in Cheltenham in the UK, but what they are is a deathtech company, environmentally friendly, zero emissions, paper-based coffins and caskets called Life Art. Now, I love Mike. Mike is the managing director. He is the most amazing human being I've ever met. I've got all the time in the world for him. He's just so nice. But what they have built, and I like to say it's a 12-year-old startup, because they've been going for 12 years, but each time they keep getting better and better and better, and they're still operating like a startup, but they are generating revenue, and they are absolutely killing it. He I spoke to him the other night, and he was saying that they've got the largest funeral group in France, who's just put in an order, and it's probably just to test them a little, is give them a short deadline to see if they can produce, and there's like 200 units they've ordered, but this is going to be massive for them. So basically what they've done is they've created a product, and the material is like beer coaster material, so it's compressed paper. But their pattern and design is incredibly strong. I went to their factory in Cheltenham in the UK, which is about an hour and a half outside of London. And when I got there, they had a coffin that was suspended by ratchet straps from the handles, and they had 150 kilos in the coffin, and it was probably suspended maybe half a meter from the ground. And it had been there for 6 weeks, and it wasn't bowing. So they're incredibly strong. Their design is strong. It can look like a traditional coffin, with the traditional finishes, or it can look like anything you want. You can have your favorite football team. You can have a picture of your kids, your dog, your country's flag, whatever you want printed on the outside of it. So they're fully customizable. They are incredible. They're cheaper than standard coffins. So I'm not sure if you've ever to plan a funeral, but your standard coffin starts at about $5,000. Theirs start from, I think, around $2,000 to $2,500. So it's half the price. It is, I think there's 87% less nitrous oxide than their closest competitor. So nitrous oxide is the chemical that puts holes in the ozone layer. They have no pollutants. So for cremation, when the casket burns, there's no toxic pollutants to go in the air. So with MDF and particle board, it's full of heavy pollutants which go on and pollute the air. For burial, when it goes into the ground, traditional coffins are full of toxins and resins. So your lacquers, your sealants, things like that. The fittings and the decorative metal or brass goes into the soil and kills the environment around it. Whereas with Life Art, nothing. It's all biodegradable. So it's really healthy. Really good for the environment.
And it's also two things inevitable: taxes and death, like I said, right?
Yes.
But it also becomes an issue, like back in the olden days, like they didn't think about what they were putting in the earth, the shellac on there and like whatever, you know what I mean? The brass. It's like now we have all of this stuff in the earth, you know what I mean? And even it's getting too crowded now. Like they're literally having to find a room to put people. So it is actually a huge market opportunity. You know what I mean? So I think that's great what he's doing. And people don't talk about death tech a lot, like myself included. And it's kind of like, wah, 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 like when you're having a conversation about it, but actually it's very enlightening because it's real issues going on, especially in that ESG space and how we can do things better for the world. This is a pure example of that. Yeah, I love that.
Like we were saying that people are making a conscious effort to be more ethical, to look after the planet. Right. You know, leave the earth better than when you found it. So exactly. Products like this are, you know, they're changing human behavior. They're changing our, you know, they're contributing to lowering the emissions, lowering the greenhouse gases, and you know, making the earth a better place. You know, one coffin at a time.
Right.
So that, I mean,
kind of thing.
Yes, I mean, it is morbid to talk about, but it is it's an industry that's not going anywhere. Death and sustainability and impact. It's not going anywhere.
Right. Absolutely.
What about you, Paris? I know you're new, and you know that you may not have the experience that Julie and
this is her initiation. Just throw her on our webcam.
Yeah, I know. But some of the decks, I know you've been looking at a lot of decks. Is there anything that stood out to you?
Well, I think like you guys, I think sustainability is something that, you know, I kind of gravitate towards. I studied agricultural science and food science. So for me, that's an area that I'm always really interested in. I think going through the decks, one that really stood out to me was versary. So it's really about vertical farming and how to use vertical farming to meet the demand of Christmas trees, which I really liked because it's such a niche area that you kind of don't really, when you go and purchase your tree, which I found out over 60 million people in Europe do alone. You know, you don't go out and purchase your tree and think about the impact that has, you know, on the environment and on land resources. You know, they need to grow, and you know, Christmas trees, you're only probably going to buy one a year. So being able to use that land for, you know, food security is a big problem that we're going to see, if not now already, but particularly in Western countries. I think food security is becoming, you know, more of an issue and more prevalent. So I really like that about Versary. I think they've come up with a solution in a sense. You know, vertical farming of Christmas trees, utilize that land better. Yeah, so that was one of the ones I gravitated towards.
I mean, you're certainly into a right space. And I was listening to a very smart person talk about you know, the population of Earth, and as we keep growing, and there's more.
Was that me? No.
As we keep growing, we're going to find it difficult to you know, find farmable land. So having vertical farming is a solution.
Also nutritious soil. We're going to have an issue finding nutritious soil. I'm working in California with some farming projects at the moment, and I really think there's going to be a wave of turning back to biodynamic farming and having all-inclusive farms, regenerative soil processing, all of that stuff is trending. And I think that's a huge issue too. Like, and also these vertical farms as well, probably utilizing areas, because we're losing a lot of nutritious soil. Sorry, I can't speak, but it is a huge issue. And especially if you are into the health and wellness space like I am, that's a big concern to me and for future generations is the nutrition that they're actually being depleted of because of the quality of the soil.
Yeah, and that's one thing that was brought up when I was listening to this talk about it, that while there are, you know, vast amounts of uninhabited land, but in terms of farming, it's not the right, you know, agriculture. It's not the right nutrient lands to grow a lot of the stuff that we need. So you finding technology or creating technology that can help and assist with this issue can you know, only make us better. And it's an interesting space. But I mean, what other trends are you seeing, Jules?
Oh, a lot of marketplaces, a lot of social content creation apps and monetization strategies and all of that stuff. I am a huge fan of live music. So there's actually a marketplace that's connecting. I used to be a musician myself back in the day. Now it's just in the convenience of my own room. But anyway, I love live music. I think there's going to be a huge wave following the pandemic of people wanting to go to concerts, festivals, get back into venues, having that, in-person experience again. And so actually there's a startup called Gigmore. David Bard is the CEO. He was a musician as well. Basically, it's a marketplace because he found there was an issue with connecting artists to venues, right? So you could connect fans to venues and ticketing platforms, but really when it came to artists trying to find, places to perform, and then, likewise also venues trying to find good artists, there was a lack of efficiency there. So he created a marketplace just basically tackling that issue, and they're doing amazing, honestly. They have a great value proposition, so the artists can grow and monetize their own fan base. They can get booked for shows, and then the venues can book qualified talent, promote the shows, and then the fans, they can connect to the artists they love, discover local artists, and basically connect with other fans as well. So they're doing a lot in that space, and I'm a huge advocate for it. I think I do remember what they're raising, Dan. I can't remember. I think it was like
I think it was $2.5 million USD.
Gotcha. Yep. Okay. Yep. So they're doing a lot right now. And David, I actually
60,000 venues, including the Viper Room and Whiskey A Go Go, which are two absolutely incredible venues in LA. But the musical history behind it is phenomenal. And to have venues like that really build to how good Gigmore is.
Right. And they have, there's some great partnerships recently with BMI and SoundCloud. And, I think it's great that they have the multiple revenue streams too. So they have, the ticketing, they have, the subscriptions, and then they have the sponsorships as well. So I think that's a really smart move to incorporate all of those streamlines in there. And then I think currently they have like 70,000 artists, 5 million fans. So yeah, they're continuing to grow, and I'm super excited. I'm probably going to go to a show here in San Diego and the Music Box. So that'll be fun to get connected with them. And David's in LA, and he's always fun to catch up with as well. Really good team too. Just really awesome to chat to. I don't know if it's the musician thing, but it just felt like you're talking to one of the groupies, and it's great. He's awesome. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they're doing this year.
Yeah. That brings us to, I'm a big fan of the content creator space. I think, you go back 10 years ago and work, a 9-to-5 job was the goal. People wanted to find a company, but in the last 10 years, things have shifted. So the ability to work when you want, the gig economy, content creators, that's going to be the new trend. People want that work-life balance. People want to be able to create revenue streams from their talents. So we've seen the rise of platforms like OnlyFans, where obviously that's targeted to the not safe for work and adult content, but that sort of platform where you can directly engage with your fans, you can provide a service, you can provide content and get paid for it. And there's a lot of successful artists and content creators who are making a healthy living out of something like that. And one of the companies that I've seen is TipSnaps. TipSnaps is a similar platform to OnlyFans, but their focus is more away from the not safe for work sort of content. But where they've found their niche is people of color. And they have built a platform for content creators of color that are focusing on, African American hair and beauty, Asian, hair and beauty, chefs and cooking classes, focusing on different cuisines, comedians. While yes, they're based in New York, and they're building a platform for, I think they've got 450,000 users and artists on the platform. They're doing $2.5 million to $3 million in revenue every year. They've built a platform in a niche that's growing, and they're catering to quite a diverse group of content creators. But where they're seeing a lot of traction is you are getting content creators from Africa, from Southeast Asia, who are doing comedy sketches and cooking classes in native languages, but focusing on immigrants to Western countries. So you're having Filipino Americans who are not seeing content in their own language while they're in the US, who are now being able to log in and see content creators from their hometown or from in their own language, and they're engaging and they're paying, and this is growing. What they're seeing also is they're signing up Bollywood stars who are massive in India, and they're connecting with their fans through North America, through I think they've expanded into Australia, where there's a large Indian population, and these people who want to see content from people who look like them in their own language, and they're signing up and they're growing exponentially in this niche, which is fantastic. But it's why I'm excited about it is it's given an avenue, it's given a way for people to create content, create a salary or a revenue stream out of doing things that are not your traditional 9 to 5. Working from home has become the norm now. So people can, set up a camera and a light ring in their lounge room, and they can talk, and they can be an expert or talk about a subject that they're passionate about, and have people engage with them and pay for that content, which is phenomenal. So this is a really exciting opportunity for me, because I've been a fan of this space for quite a while. But so they're raising at the moment. I really like the founders. They are awesome guys, and they've really discovered a niche that's growing, and that's will be highly profitable.
I agree.
Yeah. So the rise of social media, even if you look at the way that we consume content, I remember when I was young, Friday night, we would go to Blockbuster or Video Easy to go hire a video, and you would have to choose. I'm showing my age.
You fossil.
I'm showing my age here, but you would have to watch what was available. If you wanted the latest release and it wasn't available, you would have to pick something else. And Blockbuster is no longer existent, but the way that we consume content, it went from that to pay TV, which you had satellite or cable, and you had 50 to 500 channels, and you choose a channel, but you watch what they're what's on at that time. And then that shifted to streaming service.
I remember that one. I think it was a baby or something.
Oh God. So
I had to.
We've changed the way that we consume content from watching what the providers have at that time to on demand, where with streaming we watch what we want when we want. And now we've even changed from that, where we're watching these Hollywood studios are losing their market share with the rise of social media, and you can spend hours at night scrolling through TikTok and Snapchat and Instagram, watching other people's lives.
I love TikTok. I don't watch movies anymore at night. Follow me on TikTok. No, but you guys, seriously, people are so funny, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't even watch shows much anymore, unless it's a premiere of something on Netflix that's highly rated. But literally, I sit on my couch after work. Obviously, I do more than that, trust me. But I scroll through TikToks, and people are just so creative. They're so funny. They're so I just literally love it. But it's also, there's a lot of educational content. There's a lot of just comedy. I mean, there's just everything, beauty, anything you're into, and algorithms obviously will help filter that for you based on what you like and whatnot. But my God, I mean, because it's it's catered to you, right? So it's, instead of scrolling through channels and all this other stuff that you're wasting, I don't know about anyone else, but it takes me about an hour to find a movie to watch. And then by that time, I'm just let's just scroll through TikTok at this point. But yes, I love it. I'm a huge fan of this content creation era right now because I think it's going to get more and more huge as time goes on, I feel, and giving creators the independence and financial freedom is awesome. I think that's a great trend happening. I'm all for that.
Yeah, so that's the trends we've seen. But even through the when we traveled through the US, the investors are on the same path. They're looking at what's going to be big in the next 10 years. What are the trends that they're seeing? And content creation, marketplaces, on demand is the next big thing. So whether it's ride sharing, whether it's content like Netflix or
Right.
social media based content, or content creators, or marketplaces where you can buy things and get it same day delivery, or one that I've been speaking to is a retail tech company, which I'll go into in the next episode because I think they're really cool. But basically, you can buy something online but pick it up in store same day instead of delivery or click and collect, where they have to pick it and
That's nice.
things. So you're buying it straight from the store and you go down and get it, because a lot of these click and collects, especially with groceries, are a 3 or 4 hour wait. So people don't want to wait. So this is this platform, you can buy you can buy a pair of shoes now ahead of time and walk down the street to go pick it up, and it's there waiting ready for you. So it's taking that click and collect model and then supercharging it, which I think is really cool. So that on-demand aspect is some of the trends that we are seeing. So for the next 10 years, what's going to be big? But we can talk about that in the next episode, because we'll wrap it up here. But the idea for the Everyday VC is uncovering the trends, talking about companies that we've seen, what we like as investors, because obviously we invest out of the KapVista Ventures Fund, but we also connect with other family offices, angels, sophisticated investors, and venture capital funds to co-invest alongside them. So over the course of this series, we'll have other investors that we will bring in to understand what their trends are. So you don't have to talk, listen to us talk about random things that may not apply to you, but we can,
even though they want to.
Smash that like and follow button and listen
subscribe
to us, because we are the utmost authority. No, we're not the utmost authority, but we'll bring in people who we have a good relationship with and we want to hear from, and understanding that other opinion and that other other trends in other countries and other demographics and other stages and sectors. So yeah, it's hope that you can join us for the next
exciting
episode.
stuff.
It's exciting to have you, and welcome to Paris, who's going to be contributing a whole lot more as she sees she sees more and more opportunities. Yeah. But we'll wrap it up there. Thanks for jumping on and listening to us talk absolute nonsense for the last 25-30 minutes.
Nonsense.
But yeah, so,
and if you have any questions too about what we do, just feel free to reach out to any of us on LinkedIn, or our emails are out there somewhere. I'm sure you could just look them up. But either way, we're happy to answer any questions, and we just love to connect with other people and really just get new companies out there.
Yep. Okay. Well, thanks, guys. We'll put the links at the bottom of this video and share it around to all your friends.
Au revoir.
Bye.